Taking pics, you can pick stuff up, take a closer look. But we have a wall full of partner cards here, different styles, different sizes for different builds. And then, of course, on this side, we've got a bunch of 50 series laptops. We've got a bunch of 14-inch form factors. And then we've got 5080, 5070s, and 5060 down there on the end. Feel free to pick them up, play, test out the gaming. If you have any questions, let me know. But we got a variety of games here as well.
Is this a new model?
Here we have a demo of the 5060 series. So these two systems are the exact same 5060. They were released on Monday. And we're displaying the Wuchang Fallen Feathers game, which is coming out in July 24th. And yes, these games are running at 1080p at the highest graphics quality settings. So on the left hand side, you can see that it's getting about 50 FPS without any DLSS on. So DLSS off is 50 FPS, while DLSS 4, which has super resolution as well as frame generation, has about almost 200-220, so it's 4 times. It is running the DLSS super resolution at quality settings and multi-frame generation at 4x. So yes, and we were able to get 4 times the FPS while maintaining latency under the original one.
Which frame gen mode is it?
4x.
4x.
Yes. So if you take a look, aside from the performance increase, DLSS also helps with image stability. So if you take a look at the character's hair, it was grainy, but now it's more clear, as well as just foliages in the back. It's stability helps.
どっちも十分に見えるんだけど。
Subsystems, we also have the laptops. So these are the 5060 laptops. Both systems are the same. We're displaying Cyberpunk. Seen it? It's always here in demos. Without any DLSS, we get about 30 FPS, and with DLSS 4, so we're running super resolution performance mode and multi-frame generation for X here. We get almost 6 times the FPS compared to native.
違いはこっちの方が全然わかんない。Yeah, I think I can recognize that. So.
This one, I think this one's
better.
obvious that we get 6 times the FPS overall. With lower, almost half, more than half half the latency, less than half the latency of the native one. One great thing about this is that now you get the monitor is 144 hertz. You get to utilize it with the 200 FPS rather than 30.
Alongside Win and then Sean in the other room. In this room, we have the gen-on-gen kind of story between the Ada and Blackwell. So on the left-hand side, we have the desktops. On this side, we have the RTX 4070 running frame gen 2x and using the CNN model, the convolutional neural network for upscaling. And on the right-hand side, we have the RTX 5070 running DLSS 4 multi-frame gen and running the Transformer model. So part of the appeal with the Transformer model is, previously with the CNN model, while it was the best thing that we had in terms of upscaling and try to limit and lower the amount of kind of instability that you kind of see on screen and kind of make it a little bit better, there are some things that you can spot where it is unstable, like the boat oars right there, where it's kind of flickering on, in and out, and has a bit of color shift. Even here, you can see that one particular line versus the versus the Transformer model. Or even say the book right over here. It looks a bit more muted, a little less vibrant, and there's not as much vividness in the shadows and then between the lines of the text. And that's what the Transformer model that DLSS 4 brings. And that's that detail retention and the kind of enhanced clarity for some of the textures in game. And the great thing about the Transformer model is that it is not just on Blackwell. You can use that on the 20 series, the 30 series, 40 series using NV app override. so long as the game and the developers allow it, you're able to switch out between presets. So for if you like the way this looks, then you're not locked out of using the CNN. But if you do like the way Transformers look, you can still use it using NVApp override. And with with MFG, you also get the additional frames. So we do multi-frame generation 4x, and you can see that our frames are almost doubled compared to last generation's 4070, with just 2x.
Mainly FPS differences between frame generation.
What was that, sorry?
Reason why, differences between FPS.
Oh, yeah. So
mainly frame generation.
Frame generation, right? So last year, or last launch on Ada, we only had one natively rendered frame, and it interpolates one frame. So with Blackwell, we now have multi-frame generation, where you can have one native frame, one interpolated, or two interpolated, or three interpolated. Yeah. So now you can hit the higher refresh rate monitors and panels, and that's one of the appeals, especially on the laptop portable side over there. So we have the 4060 and the 5060 running on same 2x frame generation and then 4x frame generation. And this titleless Firebreak, it controls. I think most recent ones have come out in June.
That's good.
Yeah, it looks like a Control Left 4 Dead to me, so I was pretty excited about it. So it is a ray trace enabled title, and it has multi-frame gen. One of the kind of difficulties with a laptop, particularly, is usually like the thermal constraints and like the power limitations. And a lot of the times, as games become more intensive and require more, it kind of fails to hit the refresh rate that the panel natively has. So it could be like 165, could be 240, whatever it may be. But with multi-frame generation, the panel on the right-hand side is 120, I think, 120 hertz, and we are almost at 200 FPS, and able to better utilize the panel that the unit has and what the consumer paid for.
So we're showing Doom: The Dark Ages. This game just came out last week. I think yesterday they said they sold 3 million copies, or they have 3 million players, so they're very successful for them. Very happy with that. Today we're showing it on an RTX 4060 on the left, RTX 5060 on the right. So we have DLSS 3 running on the 4060 on the left, DLSS 4 multi-frame generation running on the right. So this is the FPS difference between 2x frame generation and 4x frame generation. You're welcome to play it. The difficulty's up pretty high right now. We've got a competition going on in the COMPUTEX show floor that if someone can beat this level at this difficulty, they get entered into a drawing to win a GPU. So I've just replicated that here so people can give it a shot.
I'm terrible at doing so. It's not
But the game's been great. I've been playing it on my own time, about 3/4 of the way through. It's super fun. So. And I have the game also running over here on an RTX 5080 laptop. Settings are similar to what we have on the 5060, but not exactly the same. FPS is about 220 to 230. I just don't have the FPS counter on this one. And again, you're welcome to play this one if you want. The difficulty is a little bit lower on this one, just because.
All right. So thanks for checking us out. We're the Streamlabs team. We partnered with NVIDIA on an intelligent streaming agent. So ultimately, this is a tool for live streamers. Streamlabs, we're a leading tool provider for live streamers. We create things like in the background here, you'll see like Streamlabs Desktop. It's kind of our core product. Creators are using this to go live to YouTube, Twitch, wherever they want to stream. Being a live streamer today, it's a very challenging job. There's sort of many things you're having to do at the same time. You're entertaining an audience, you're playing a game at a high level, you're paying attention to what's happening in your chat, all while changing sources, dealing with video things, dealing with audio things. There's just so many tasks you have to do at the same time. We see some of the biggest professional streamers, they have teams of people that are helping them make these things a reality. And so the hope is, what if we leverage AI to offload a lot of these tasks and make their life easier for a lot of streamers. And so, we partnered with NVIDIA. This beautiful looking agent you can see over here is leveraging the newest ACE audio to face plugin, which uses diffusion to create these really great facial animations that we'll see throughout this demo. There's basically 3 main ways the agent can help you. First, it can act as a sidekick, right? So kind of help you engage with your audience, maybe a really useful thing for someone that's, trying to transition from just playing the game to also entertaining. Second, it can act as a producer. So helping level up the production quality of your stream, kind of simulating what a lot of the biggest streamers are achieving today. And then finally, it can help from a tech support point of view. So let's jump in, right? So on this screen, we have my game. This is Fortnite, consistently one of the most streamed games and very popular for new streamers. And here, like I said, is desktop. The most important thing for this demo is to really look at what's going on over here. This is what's most important because this is what's being sent to my audience. So when I first started a game of Fortnite, I'm waiting, right? Kind of waiting for the game to start. Not the most exciting thing for my viewers. So I can strike up a conversation. I can ask something like, hey, where did I drop?
Outpost Enclave is a solid choice. Lots of cover and potential high-tier loot.
So that's great. The agent, able to strike up a conversation. The agent has a take, but you'll see I also have chat here, right? So how cool would it be if the agent can help me poll my chat and get their suggestions? Ask chat where I should drop.
Interesting. Chat, any suggestions for the drop spot? Let's hear your favorite landing zones.
So the agent's paying attention, kind of counting up all the different selection from chat, and is going to report the
Moxie
results of the
Floodgate
poll.
takes the crown.
I think that's serious.
Big thanks to everyone who voted, especially Crove360.
There you go. So the agent's able to run this poll for me very easily, right?
Yeah.
With just a simple voice command, I got that done. When we talk about it sort of serving as a sidekick, when people start streaming for the first time, a lot of folks, they get lost in the game, right? You're coming from playing a game to now you're streaming, and you may not have a lot of viewers when you're first getting started. And so just remembering that you have an audience to engage, this is something a lot of people forget to do. They don't realize that they didn't say anything for quite a while. So how might the agent help me if it notices I've been silent for some time?
That pumped power view is something else. Think there's decent loot waiting here?
So the agent sees what's going on, both in my stream as well as my game. Made a comment about what was in that chest, and then asked me a question, trying to encourage me to speak and interact with my audience. Now let's look at some of the personalization that's possible with the agent. So as I mentioned, we're leveraging the latest audio-to-face plugin here, leveraging diffusion. That's creating all these great facial animations that we're seeing. We're able to change the appearance of the agent. At launch, we intend to have about 30 different examples that users will be able to choose from. We're able to alter its personality. Right now he's set to neutral. For fun, let's make him very sarcastic. We can also change his response style, make him talk like a medieval person, a pirate, a cowboy. We'll leave it neutral for now, but we can definitely have fun with that. Now that I've changed his voice and appearance, and I've changed his personality to be sarcastic, let's see what he thinks of my gameplay. Hey, what are my chances of winning this game?
Let's see. Oh, winning? Yeah, sure. If everyone else suddenly forgets how to build.
There you go. So he doesn't have that much faith in my gameplay, but that's all right. We'll leave him sarcastic for the rest of the demo. Next, we're going to take a look at how we can serve as a producer. This is some of the stuff we're most excited about because this is something that translates well and helps anyone from someone that's just getting started to someone that's streamed for years. Just really enabling you to, leveraging the agent, level up your production quality. So now we're going to look at a scenario that's all too common for me. We're going to look at a scenario where I lose the game, right? And please pay attention to the differences between what's happening in the game versus what my stream is seeing.
Getting eliminated like that really gives new meaning to dropping in style. Yikes.
There you go. Maintaining that sarcasm. There was a bunch of different things the agent just did. And the agent did one more thing that was kind of cool. Can you play that replay?
So, hope you're ready for a masterclass in failure. Replay's loading now.
There you go. So realizing this was also an important moment, the agent clipped this for me, and then when I asked to play this replay, switched the scenes and changed it for me. But let's go back to that death sequence, right? When I get over to the automations tab over here, we can see what the agent just did, and it's pretty impressive. Recognizing that I was eliminated, the agent saved the replay, made a comment, revealed that game over text, revealed that audio that you heard, waited 3.5 seconds, hid those two sources to reset the scene, and then switch the scene to the live camera focus. For someone to do this on their own, while playing the game and doing everything else, is just completely impossible, right? And that's why today, streamers have teams, some of the biggest streamers, making these things possible. And that's why we're so excited with the agent, right? The idea of you can create these really interesting automations. We'll, of course, create a lot of awesome templatized ones, and then people will be able to be as creative as they'd like and improve them from there. Next, we're going to look at, from a support perspective, how the agent may help. So, let's say that sequence just took place. I just lost the game. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go reset for a sec. Why don't I mute my mic? I don't want a hot mic. I'm going to go to the fridge. I'm going to get a glass of water, hydrate myself, reset a little bit, come back to my game. I tell my audience, okay, I'm feeling good now. This next one, this is going to be the victory. Get ready for it. Except what just happened? The audience didn't hear any of that because I forgot to unmute my mic, right? This is a super typical scenario that every streamer deals with. How might the agent help me if it realizes I'm talking, but I'm muted?
Muted mic vibes, huh? Gotta love the Silent Pro strat. Want sound back?
Yes, please unmute my mic. So you take a look at the mic over there.
Wait. Audio unmuted. Let the world bask in the glory of your hot mics.
So we're super excited about this kind of technical support, right? Where the agent's aware of kind of my stream health, recognized that there's a problem, let me know about that problem, and then offered me the solution, right? This issue of not realizing that your mic is muted is something that every streamer is doing, whether they're just getting started or they've been doing it for a long time. It's a super, super common problem. And of course, from a customer's like a technical support perspective, you can ask a lot of the, you can just, rather than having to search Reddit threads and dive in for answers, you can just ask, questions that you might have, right? Hey, what bitrate should I be streaming 4K 60 FPS at?
Between 35,000 to 45,000 kilobits per second, and hope your internet isn't powered by hamster wheels.
There you go. Streaming 4K is no joke. But yeah, so we kind of went through 3 different sets of functionality. We saw how the agent may serve as a sidekick, kind of helping me out with my stream, how it can serve as a producer, really leveling up the production quality, and then finally how it can help me with technical support. We're going to be launching this later this year, and please, reach out if you'd like to get access to the demo. And does anyone have any questions? Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for running through it.
Great. We have one more demo for you here.
Hey, how's it going? My
Hi.
name is Niall Osmani. I'm a product manager at NVIDIA, and I want to show you a new update that's come to Portal RTX, which is made by RTX Remix. Are you guys familiar with RTX Remix?
Yeah. I remember the name, so in a days or something.
So basically, it's our modding tool that allows modders to remaster classic games with cutting-edge graphics. So all of these materials here have been updated to be much higher quality. They have physically accurate PBR, physically based rendered properties. You have path trace lighting. Portal RTX actually has our most cutting-edge path tracer, as does Remix. When you think about every path tracer we put into a game, this is our most advanced one for real-time gaming. And then we also have neural rendering that's accelerating and making it play super, super well. And over here, this is now on Ultra Graphics preset. It is the highest graphics possible, and it's a 5060 running at 1080p. And so you can see it's getting over 166 frames per second. If anybody wants to give the mouse a shake, they can feel how responsive it is. It's a great way to play.
Yeah. Wow. So fast.
Yeah, right? And what I want to show you now is everything we've brought to this release with this update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial everything back to what this experience used to be, and then I'll show you, I'll add each piece of technology on. So we'll start with, let's start with multi-frame generation. So before we had DLSS 3.5. With frame gen, we were only generating 1 frame, so we're getting about 86 FPS. really good experience, but it's not maxing out your refresh rate of your 144 hertz monitor. So let me put on multi-frame generation. So we'll put on 4x mode. And now we're going to get 154 FPS, which is pretty amazing. The next thing we're going to do is I'll show you the new transformer model for ray reconstruction. Are you guys familiar with ray reconstruction? A little bit?
Yeah.
So with path tracing, right, like I mentioned, it's the most cutting edge lighting model. In Hollywood movies, they take minutes or hours to render a single frame. For gaming, we have to render like 160 frames per second. It's like a 300 times as fast, the sophistication. So we have to take shortcuts. So we fire less rays into the scene, we trace less bounces, and we use a denoiser to basically denoise the image. The image before is kind of staticky, and with the denoising pass, we clean it up. And so before we would use a hand-tuned denoiser, which was not AI-based, and it had problems. You can see the lines look very unstable and flickery and shimmery, and it doesn't really look that good. If you look at the ground, it just doesn't look very good. Like there's a lot of noise and bleeding with the old one. Then we created ray reconstruction. When you put on ray reconstruction, which is DLSS 3.5 was when that came out. And at that point, the lines became much more stable, the image became less noisy, it was a lot better, but there was still a problem. So look at these ground tiles. See how there's detail there? But the moment I start moving or shifting, all the detail disappears and it has to come back in. So anytime you're in motion, all that detail would disappear and then it would try to come back in whenever you stop moving. We don't play games standing still, we run around, right? So that's why we made Transformer, that's when we do the Transformer model, you get an upgrade to all of the detail and it stays there even when you're in motion. So let me turn it off and on again. Take a look over here. See all these scratches and these smudges? Here's the old model. Here's the new model. Over here as well. Old model, new model. And so you don't want to play the game looking like this. You want to play it looking like this. And now you're getting high performance and a beautiful, detailed experience with the beautiful path trace lighting. It looks incredible on a 5060.
Good.
And now I want to show you one last thing we've brought, and that's Neural Radiance Cache. So Neural Radiance Cache, RTX Neural Radiance Cache, for indirect lighting and path tracing. The old approach, like I mentioned, was fire as many rays as you could trace, as you could afford to trace, and then use an algorithm, a spatial temporal algorithm, to make it look good. With Neural Radiance Cache, we use AI to calculate the indirect light. Essentially, imagine this. Imagine you've got a bunch of tiny neural networks all across the world stage, all across the world space that you're playing in. And each time we trace rays, we trace the ray for 2 bounces, and then the Neural Radiance Cache infers the rest of the bounces after that, a multitude of bounces after that. So we're tracing less rays and we're letting AI infer many more rays instead. It makes lighting more accurate, but it also improves performance. So take a look at this. We're at 158 FPS. Let me put on Neural Radiance Cache. Give it a second. And now we're at 172. So we went up from 158 to 172, but we also got improvements to image quality. We got much more accurate indirect lighting, and the lighting is much more responsive. So I'll show you what I mean by more responsive. I'll turn it off again. And take a look. When I step on this button, the light turns yellow. When I step off it, it turns blue. But look at the reflection. Do you see a problem? It's kind of fading, right? It fades in and out. It's not instant. And if I do this, it doesn't even change. So let me put on Neural Radiance Cache. And now let's try. It's much more responsive, and I'll do that same test there. And if I do it perfectly, you have to stare really closely, but it even updates if I only touch it for like a millisecond, you know, a frame. So with Neural Radiance Cache, we've improved performance, we've improved image quality, and now we're getting much closer to that movie quality path tracing that's done offline. All thanks to DLSS 4, Ray Reconstruction Transformer Model, and Neural Radiance Cache.
Good.
Any
That's
questions?
the best example I've seen of it.
What, Ray Reconstruction?
Yeah, well, yeah, the whole, and the neural Radiance Cache.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, like I always think to myself, like, path tracing looks so good, but then it just has small issues on the edges. You know, like too much noise used to be the old one, like, oh, everything breathes. And then I think Ray Reconstruction and then the Transformer model have solved that, basically. Then yeah, now the responsiveness is getting there. It's starting to feel like, yeah, you want all of this tech in every game if you can have it. And I think the really impressive stuff is the 5060's handling it like a champ.
For sure.
Feel free to move the mouse if you want to see how it feels or anything like that.
Okay, so I won't spend too much time on the basic capability of GAssist, but we'll focus more on the extension. So if you're not familiar, GAssist is an app that you can install within an NVIDIA app. It gives you capability to control things specific to like GPU function, gaming calls, and so on. And you can use either voice or text to interact with it, and it lives on your GPU, as in it's an SLM and an ASR model. So everything that it does by default is local AI compute. So for example, I can say, can you launch Counter-Strike 2? And it knows that Counter-Strike 2 is a game that exists within my library, and then it can launch the title. Now, the cool thing, or the extended powers that we have given GAssist, is that now via the GAssist plugin architecture, we can use GAssist to call APIs within other apps. So for example, I'm still playing and still within Counter-Strike 2, but I can interact with Discord via the plugin architecture and API call to the Discord app. So I could say, hey Discord, can you post to my chat that I'll be there in 5 minutes? So it takes that, it recognizes the keyword to call the plugin, and then it basically sends my text to the Discord app, right? That's how you use a GAssist plugin to talk to an API. Now you can see this is very powerful. So what this means is that other apps and services that have APIs, I can write a plugin for GAssist that will then enable me to communicate with that service. So for example, let's say I want to talk to Google Gemini. I can say, hey Google, when is the next Counter-Strike 2 competition scheduled for? Because this is an SLM running on the GPU, doesn't have knowledge about the outside world, but Google Gemini does have that knowledge. So I can call that API within GAssist, and it will give me information from Google Gemini. And I can ask follow-up questions like, so who's the favored to win? Right? And it will know contextually, I was just talking about Counter-Strike 2, and it will ask the follow-up question and say, you know, who's the thing? And I think this is knowing which one's referring. Oh, it's asking me a follow-up question. I say, yeah, who's favored to win the Counter-Strike 2 competitions? Right. So it pulls it once again. And it's just basically saying, like, you know, team vitality is probably the top, rank the top, right? So these are how we can extend GAssist to other LLMs via the plugin and the API call. We can use also this to do things like run routines. So if this, then that. And I could say game time. And that's my routine that I have for doing different things, including turning on my desk fan, sending me email messages about upcoming gaming news and that kind of thing, and also can control things like Spotify. So you can run routines using plugins and APIs. And then lastly, we're actually working with other app developers like Signal RGB to expose more control to their app, to GAssist, so that they can basically take advantage of natural language processing capability on the GPU to control things like system settings. So for example, I can go in and talk to Signal RGB, and say change effect. And then we'll talk to Signal RGB and be able to control that feature as well. Actually, shuffle to it. Let's do a different. How about a different effect? It's saying that. Change the effect to random. Okay, so switch to neon shift. I could say, like, can you make it brighter? Once again, using natural language processing, can make the effect brighter, control the other apps. So the whole idea behind this is that we can use AI to make it easier to use our PC and more efficient without having to hunt around for different settings and things like that, as we think that AI may be the key or the new way of interacting with PCs, so you can get your intent or your goals done on the PC without having to necessarily know how to do everything yourself. Now, I mentioned before that there's a plugin architecture that we've made for G-Assist. Now, that plugin architecture is something that we have given to ChatGPT as a template, which means that you can go to ChatGPT today and tell it what kind of plugin you want to interact with a specific service, and it will tell you step by step how to make that plugin by providing you with a Python code in order to make that plugin yourself. So we're effectively now able to use AI to then make local plugins that will make AIs that make computing easier for us.
So I think we're really tight on time. I'm not going to do an actual demo. I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick overview and just tease so you can get to the other room. But this is essentially a project R2X. You can think of this as our digital human interface for a PC or agent assistant. What you see here in the background is one of our partner products called LangFlow. It essentially is like a playground for using AI tools and services that you can configure. So we're actually using this one agent here, this R2X agent. It's being powered by OpenAI. If I click this drop down, you can see there's many other agents, LLM intelligence models you can use, and this is all being an output that's driving her. And what we have here locally is a locally rendered character with AI-powered animation. So I'll just let her talk so you can kind of see what she looks like in motion. Hey, Aki, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Is the face of your PC's AI. Daily tasks, creative work, modding, I can jump in anywhere. Plus, if you connect me to LangFlow, you can build custom agents with NVIDIA NIMs.
So as you can see, like pretty snappy despite doing a cloud call from here. And then let's say, hey Aki, give like a 20 second, actually do a 5-second poem in German.
5 Sekunden. Blumen blühen farbenklar, Sonnenstrahlen wunderbar. Leben tanzt so freu und heiter, Herz schlägt immer weiter.
So I have no idea what she said or if it was good, but the reason I did that is because you can see that's baseline, but you can now direct it. Can you do that same line again, but this time deliver it in English and also deliver it like super fast, like you're excited, like an esports broadcaster?
Flowers bloom, colors clear, sunlight wonderful. Life dance is so cheerful, heartbeats on and on.
Okay, so you can see that's the one way, and then we go one more way, and then I'll let you guys go. Aki, can you give it again, that same line, but this time deliver it in a slow but sad way, like your heart's just broken.
Flowers bloom, colors clear, sunlight wonderful.
Wow.
Life dances so cheerful.
So yeah, we basically show that just to say, hey, there's different use cases. Like you might want something in the healthcare industry that's more empathetic and more sorrowful. You might want something that's more entertaining for like streaming kind of scenarios, and then you might want something that's professional. But basically, it's your avatar being able to be used in whatever way you think it makes sense. The same tech stack that you're seeing in other areas for in-game uses, we're using here as well. So those are the main key takeaways. I just wanted to make sure I speed run that for you guys.
Yeah, really good job. Thank you so much.
No problem.
First demo, we're showing the updates on the 50 series for video editors. As you guys may know, 4:2 is a format that's catching on because the cameras with 4:2 have become very affordable. As of last year, they were $600. And as you can see, we get better gradients in color, we don't have graininess, etc., etc. Now, what did we add in the 50 series? We added 4:2 encoders and decoders. So what happens is if you try to play back 4K streams of 4:2, basically you will stutter without the acceleration of the GPUs. So to show it, we're showing here a MacBook M4 Max fully decked up and a 5090 laptop from Razer. And you can see we're playing at 60 FPS, and the Mac, it says 8, and I don't think those are 8. But basically this is what happens if you don't have hardware acceleration. So big game changer for video editors. The other thing that we have that's new is 3 encoders. Now in the 5090, we can take a video, we can split it, and send each part of the workload to an encoder. It's faster. And to show it to you guys, we have here the export, same video on the 5090, 32 seconds, On the MacBook, 1 minute. So it's 2x faster.
Yeah, pretty good.
Any questions on the video stuff?
Yeah, it's okay for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go then to the next one.
So this is a Gen AI demo for architecture visualization. So what we have here, it's an app that could be useful for professionals looking to create something fast, but also for just consumers, people like you or me. I don't know if you're just a normal consumer, but people who don't have necessary skill in this area, but want to, let's say they just moved into a new place and want to imagine how this living room will look. So I could go ahead and send this, under the hood it's using Stable Diffusion, text to image and AI. This workflow is RTX accelerated, runs 100 times faster. So you can see it's essentially real time. I mean, you do it really fast, 3 seconds. You could also do fun things like sketch in something, because it reads the image input. God, that's bad. I'm trying to draw a light here. Okay. Yeah, I didn't fill that in fast enough. But there you go. You're going to create something like this. Yeah. And so I would, we have an ongoing contest to have people try their hand at sketching. But if you guys only have 5 minutes, maybe it's not going to be you're not going to have that much time.
Mine don't look like that, so.
You want to try it? You can try it.
No.
Okay, cool. But that's essentially this. It's a fun, easy to get started workflow. Good for if you just want to kind of quickly show your ideas and send them back and forth. We had our Doug who was doing a home kind of building project. He was working at his team and he was thinking about using this. Any questions? Cool. Okay. So I don't know how much time we have left. This one is a way more complicated version of kind of Gen AI demo. So that's going to be good for people who want some kind of basic controls, want to play around with it. But if you want complete control over your image, if you're a serious creator, you're going to want this more fine-tuned control. So we created this Gen AI blueprint, which combines our text-to-image model with Blender's viewport, which is used as a depth map. So the text prompt together with this depth map create this output image that where the prompt tells you what you want and the depth map tells you where you want it. So you can see here the bikes here, the cans here, boxes here, all that kind of stuff. It comes prepackaged with our NIMs. So for example, Flux, are you familiar with Flux? Okay, it's a big text-to-image model, high quality, but it takes 23 gigs of VRAM on its own. With the NIM, it's quantized down to 9 to 10 gigs of VRAM, which also means it runs 3 times faster. And also means that we could run this big workflow all on device, which a big workflow that's gotten even bigger because we wanted to add to this blueprint because one of the things we want to show is that blueprints are flexible. We want people to build on top of them because this isn't going to fit everybody's needs. It's just a starting point. So one thing that we added here was the ability to generate objects to fit your scene. Because this one right here, you could get started with this without much AI knowledge if it's prepackaged, but without much 3D knowledge, you're going to be kind of stuck with whatever we gave you, right? So to give people the ability to actually play around with this and change the scene, we add the ability to generate 3D objects easily. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how that works. I tell my LLM the idea that I have in mind. This is using the Llama 3.1 8B NIM, and my LLM gives me some objects, object recommendations. So click a few, generate it. It'll give me text prompts, as we mentioned before, prompt engineering, text prompts are kind of hard with these models. They're really important. Prompt engineering can be difficult if you don't know how to do it, and also they're different for every Gen AI model. So this LLM kind of knows what model we're using, knows what it likes, and gives us prompts that we need. Then we'll go ahead and ignore this. This is already generate new image previews for these objects. This is using one of our own NVIDIA models that does 9 images in 3 seconds. We get some quick image previews, and then we go ahead and can generate that object. So it'll take about 20-25 seconds to generate that. But essentially what we did here, taking a step back, is we went all the way from having an idea for a scene, taking that idea and turning it into object recommendations, getting text prompts for those objects, getting image previews, and then getting our final object, all within the span of 45 seconds. A minute, I don't know, 2 minutes, something like that. I tried to go through this pretty quick. So yeah, as you can see here, we have our little trash can. And going back to the original workflow, all of these objects were generated using that workflow.
And if you want to do something fun, I created this person. You can also just change entirely what this will look like just by adding an object and changing the prompt. So go ahead and we want to kind of Taiwanese night market scene, make it more localized. And so again, this uses our Flux NIM, so it runs 3 times as fast as this would otherwise. And you'll see at the end it matches the composition, bike to bike, trash can to trash can, box to box. And let's see, run this. Cool. There you go.
Nice.
Awesome. So yeah, blueprints. Way to get started with what is otherwise would be a very complicated workflow to set up. Show off Gen AI capabilities, but also for people to get started with and build stuff that fit their own needs. We've had all sorts of ideas on ways to improve this blueprint over the course of this week, and that's great. That's what we're looking for.
Cool. That's great.
Awesome.
Lovely. Thanks for sharing this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.